Lesbian detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now, lesbian detective, lesbian detective. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the lesbian detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for coming to our podcast on a new week. And sad moment. I'm almost out for my links. There we go. Because they are out the playoff, guys. It was a hard game. I was proud of them. Then they start winning, and then they start losing, then they lost, and I'm like, oh. I thought we had it in the bag, but we didn't. The Aces are in, and I'm semi for the Aces. If they win, I'm like, congratulations. But I'm also sad because my team not there. But we have next season. And somebody told me, because I just got into sports, they're like, this team can change next season. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Not to be petty, but I'm okay if like a couple players leave because we need some more people on our team. So I'm okay.
But if Dejanay gets traded to another team, are you following that new team? Do you follow the player or do you follow the team?
It depends on what team she go to. If she go to like a good team, like how the Lynx are, I'm following it. But it's like I'm Lynx now. I don't know. I like the Lynx players and the team and the coach. So I don't know. I'm in between a little bit. But I like the Lynx. Lost Lynx? Okay. Let's get to this episode, guys, and also, sorry for my voice. I'm sick again.
Step back into the world of 90s true crime with the Unsolved Couple podcast. Join host Ben and me, Sierra, as we dive into the iconic TV show Unsolved Mysteries, providing the updates you missed out on as a kid. It's the perfect mix of nostalgia and true crime. Catch us every Tuesday as we talk about the original gateway drug into true crime, Unsolved Mysteries.
It was the morning after Halloween. The air was cold, heavy with fog, and the sun had barely begun to rise over the empty stretch of the highway that cut through the forest. The world was quiet, too quiet, until a truck driver noticed something in the grass, something that didn't belong. At first, he thought it was a mannequin, maybe a Halloween prank left behind. But as he drew closer, the illusion faded. It wasn't a trick. It was real. A young girl lay face down near the road, still and silent, as if the world had simply moved on without her. No one knew who she was. She carried no ID, no purse, no reason to be there. Only a small necklace around her neck, a pair of red sandals, and a quiet story that no one could yet tell. She hadn't been seen by anyone who could name her. She hadn't been reported missing by anyone who would claim her. And for years, her identity remained locked away in time, a whisper of a life lost on a lonely Texas highway. Who was she? Where did she come from? And why did no one come looking for her? Those questions would linger for decades, long after the road was redone, long after the headlines faded. Because sometimes the scariest mysteries aren't the ones told around campfires on Halloween night. They are the ones that really happen. This is the case of Walker County Jane Doe, aka Sherri Jarvis. It was the morning after Halloween, 1980. The air was heavy with mist, and a pale gray light escaped through the pine trees surrounding the Sam Houston Natural Forest. The lone stretch of the Interstate 45 was quiet. Only the sound of tires rolling against wet road as dawn broke over Texas. A truck driver was making his usual early runs when something caught his eye. A small shape lying motionless in the grass near the shoulder of the highway. At first, he thought it was an animal, maybe a deer struck in the night. But as he slowed down and pulled over, a chill crept through him. The shape wasn't an animal, it was a human body. He stepped out of his rig and approached slowly, the dew soaking through his boots. Laying face down in the grass was a young girl, naked, her hair tangled around her shoulders, her skin pale against the dark soil. Around her neck hung a delicate gold necklace. Not far away, a pair of red leather sandals rested in the mud, along with a pair of pantyhose twisted in the weeds. When police arrived, the scene was uninviting. The young girl had been beaten, sexually assaulted, and strangled with those very pantyhose. Her killer had discarded her like she was nothing, leaving her there under the dim morning sky. The investigators estimate she died only a few hours earlier, sometime after midnight, in the final hours of Halloween night. Whoever she was, her last moments had been brutal. In the days that followed, the murder spread through the community like wildfire. It wasn't every day that something like this happened in a quiet Walker County. Locals began coming forward with bits of information, fragments of memory that would soon form a haunting picture. A teenage girl had been seen around town the day before, hitchhiking near the truck stop just off the highway. She'd been wearing blue jeans and a yellow shirt with large pockets. Some said she stopped into the Hitch and Post truck stop to get a bite to eat. Others recall her walking down the service road, asking for directions to the Ellis Unit, a Texas state prison just a few miles away. She said she was from Rockport, one man remembered, said she needed to see a friend at the prison. No one could explain why a teenage girl alone on Halloween night would want to visit a prison. A waitress who spoke to her at the truck stop remembered feeling uneasy. The girl said she was 19, though she didn't look it. Her voice was soft but guarded, like someone used to fending for herself. When asked if her parents knew where she was, the girl's answer was short and bitter. Who cares? Hours later, that same girl was found dead. The Walker County Sheriff's Office threw everything that they had at the investigation. They checked missing person report across Texas and surrounding states. They took dental impressions, recorded fingerprints, even sent a photo of the girl's face to the newspaper across the county. But no one came forward. No one knew her name. No family claimed her. Weeks turned to months with no identity and no leads. The case stalled. And so, in January of 1981, the young girl was buried at Oakwood Cemetery in Huntsville. A small headstone was placed above her grave, etched with the 3 words that would identify her for 4 decades: Walker County Jane Doe. Even in death, she was a stranger. Years passed, investigators came and went. Files were boxed, stored, reopened, and boxed again. The world changed, but she remained frozen in 1980, forever the nameless girl on the side of the road. Detectives suspected she'd been a runaway, maybe a hitchhiker traveling through Texas. The 1970s and 80s had been a dangerous time for girls like her. Free spirit, trying to find themselves, trusting the wrong strangers, climbing into the wrong truck. Some thought she could be connected to the other unsolved murders along Interstate 45, the same deadly corridor that would later earn the nickname the Highway to Hell. Over the years, dozens of women had been found murdered along the stretch of the highway, many of them runaways or hitchhikers. Some were linked to serial killers, some weren't, but the similarities between them was chilling. Still, no match was ever made. In 1999, nearly 20 years after the girl's death, investigators exhumed her body. The hope was that neuroforensic technology might reveal something the 1980s couldn't. DNA was extracted, mitochondrial marks analyzed, but every comparison came up empty. Detective Tom Bean refused to give up. He had joined the Walker County Sheriff's Office years after her murder, but felt drawn to the case, to her. He said it felt personal, like she was still waiting for someone to tell her story. So he kept her file on his desk, always within reach.
In 2020, technology finally caught up to the mystery. The sheriff's office teamed up with Ultram, a forensic DNA lab in Texas that specialized in solving cold cases through genetic genealogy. But there was a problem. The DNA extracted from the exhumed remains was too degraded to analyze. The samples had decayed over decades, leaving scientists with fragments too broken to read. Then, someone found a small piece of preserved tissue, formalin-fixed paraffin, embedded material that had been saved back in 1980. It wasn't ideal. Formalin damages DNA, making it nearly impossible to work with, but it was all they had. The Ultram scientists took a chance. They spent months painstakingly repairing and rebuilding fragments of the DNA. Slowly, piece by piece, a profile emerged, damaged but usable. Using forensic-grade genome sequencing, they built a genealogy profile and began the long process of tracking family connections through a public database. For the first time in 40 years, the ghost of Walker County had a lead. The trail led hundreds of miles north to Stillwater, Minnesota. There, genealogists found distant relatives of the unidentified girl. Detective Bean reached out, and soon DNA swabs were collected from the family for confirmation. The results came back conclusive. After 40 long years, Walker County Jane Doe finally had a name. She was Sherri Ann Jarvis, born on March 9th, 1966, 14 years old when she died. Sherri, known to her friends as Tati, was bright, outgoing, and headstrong. The kind of girl who loved music, laughter, and the thrill of independence. She grew up in Stillwater, Minnesota, in a modest, middle-class family. But her teenage years were troubled. In 1979, Sherri was removed from her parents' custody and placed in a foster home while awaiting a juvenile detention hearing. She didn't want to stay there. One day, she ran. At just 14, Sherri hit the road with two sisters she met in the system. The three girls made it as far as Green Bay, Wisconsin, before the sisters decided to turn back. Sherri didn't. She was done going home. In August 1980, Sherri wrote a letter to her family from Denver, Colorado. It was both a goodbye and a warning. She said they couldn't hear from her again until she was at least 18 or 21. She said she was angry about being locked up, that she just wanted her freedom. After that, the letters stopped. Somehow, over the next few months, Sherri made her way south, all the way to Texas. On Halloween night, 1980, Sherri turned up in Huntsville, nearly 1,000 miles from home. She was seen at a truck stop asking for directions to the Ellis Unit, a prison complex on the edge of town. She told people she was from Rockport, Texas, and wanted to visit a friend there. No one knew who that friend might have been. Witnesses describe her as friendly but guarded, street smart and independent. One waitress said she seemed older than her age, but carried herself with the kind of exhaustion that comes from running for too long. By the time the sun rose the next morning, Sherri was dead. Her body was found just 6 miles from where she had been seen alive. To this day, no one knows who killed Sherri Ann Jarvis. Some investigators think she might have accepted a ride from a trucker heading south, a man who offered her warmth and safety for the night, before revealing his true intentions. Others speculate she may have met someone connected to the prison, someone she'd come to see. The brutality of the crime suggested rage or sadism. Some even wondered if her killer could have been a woman, but despite decades of effort, no suspect was ever charged. For years, people tied her case to a pattern of murders along I-45. Between the 1970s and 1990s, dozens of young women vanished along that corridor, many strangled and left nude by the roadside, just like Sherri. One of those victims was Deborah Jackson, known for decades only as Orange Socks, found murdered almost exactly 1 year before Sherri. Both were found near highways, both strangled, both young runaways. Serial killer Henry Lee Lucas confessed to Jackson's murder, but later recanted, and investigators proved he was in Florida that day. Lucas also falsely confessed to hundreds of other crimes, including Sherri's. The real killer, the one who ended Sherri's life, remains unidentified. In November 2021, 41 years after she was murdered, Sheriff Clint McRae stood before cameras and made the announcement. The girl, known for decades as Walker County Jane Doe, has been identified as 14-year-old Sherri Ann Jarvis of Stillwater, Minnesota. The news rippled across the country. For the first time, her family learned what had happened to her. Sherri wasn't just a nameless girl on the side of the road. She was a daughter, a sister, a child who had dreams, laughter, and a name. Her headstone in Oakwood Cemetery was replaced, the old marker bearing Walker County Jane Doe removed. In its place, a new one engraved with the truth. Sherri Ann Tati Jarvis, March 9, 1966 through November 1st, 1980. After 41 years, she finally came home. Even now, the questions linger like ghosts along Interstate 45. Who was the man or woman who stopped for Sherri that Halloween night? What did she say? Why did she say she wanted to visit the prison? And what other secrets does that stretch of highway still hold? Detective Tom Bean still hopes for answers. Sherri's case remains open, and the Walker County Sheriff's Office continues to chase new leads. Sometimes Bean visits her grave, not as an investigator, but as someone who promised to give her back her name. He once said, "She's not just a file on my desk. She's a kid who got lost. She deserves her story told." Now her story has a voice. Sherri Ann Tati Jarvis, the girl who vanished on Halloween and spent 4 decades buried as a Jane Doe, is remembered not for how she was found, but for who she was. A spark of life in a world that turned cruel too soon. A runaway who wanted freedom. A girl who was lost, but finally found. Before we end this case, let's take a moment to remember the young girl whose life was stolen far too soon. Sherri Ann Tati Jarvis. She was only 14 years old, a child with a laugh that came easy, a heart full of defiance, and dreams that reached far beyond the streets she walked. She was smart, curious, and restless, a girl who wanted freedom, even if she didn't fully understand the dangers waiting in the world beyond home. For 41 years, she was known only as Walker County Jane Doe, a name that spoke a mystery not of the person she truly was. She was just buried without family, without flowers, without a story, but she was never forgotten. Detectives, strangers, and scientists who never knew her refused to let her fade away. They carried her name in silence until they finally gave her one. And now we know her, not as the girl on the side of the road, not as a cold case file, but as Sherri, a daughter, a sister, a friend. She may have lost her voice on Halloween night in 1980, but through time, science, and compassion, she finally spoke again. Her story reminds us that no one is truly gone as long as we remember their name, as long as we keep telling their story. So tonight, as we close this case, let's remember her not for the way her life ended, but for the light she carried while she was here. Sherri Ann Tati Jarvis, March 9, 1966 to November 1st, 1980. You were lost for so long, but now you are home. This is the case of Walker County Jane Doe, aka Sherri Jarvis. Now let's get into some theories.
Theories.
Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Research and do your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives.
You or me?
Good.
Yes, I am back, baby. It was one part when I was doing this case that stood out to me. How some people think it might have been a woman. And I'm like, how the people who saw her for a couple of hours, even her family and friends, said she was very street smart. You couldn't get over her fast. So to me, I'm like, if she's street smart and she's like hitchhiking, she's not going to get in a car or a van with a man by herself. You know, she's going to feel like that situation. But if it was a couple or a couple with a baby, she's like, okay, I might get in that car. You know, she feels safe because it's a family. It's Halloween night. And it is a case. I forgot the name of the person, guys. If you remember it, please go in the comments below. That it was a girl that was kidnapped by a couple who had a baby in their car, and they kept her like in a little box of their house, and the husband was like SAing her and stuff like that. So it is, I mean, anything's possible. Let's just be honest. Anything is possible. So that's why I'm thinking, like, what if it was a couple and she felt safe with the woman? She's like, okay, it's a woman in this car. I feel safe. You know, she's a teenager. She's 14. And to me, I wish the police will really talk to the girls that she ran away with, because she was going to Texas for a reason. And they did talk to the prisoners that was in the jail that she was trying to visit. But I mean, they're prisoners. Come on, guys. We really think they're going to tell the truth?
Right.
And of course, he's an adult and a 14-year-old is coming to visit him. But those girls that was with her, they know stuff. She said they was her sisters. So if they're her sisters and they're not even blood, like, she chose this family. So that means she let her walls out and really talk to them. Those two young ladies, well, they're not young ladies, some other way, you know, women, they know a lot to me. And I wish that they would come out and really tell her story and tell the police things that might can help solve her case. What if that man got out of jail sooner than she thought? Like, she was visiting him. What if he was already out of jail and she some way saw him? We don't even know. Is there so many possibilities in this story that you have to look at?
How did she meet the prisoner is what I want to know. Because I can understand nowadays through social media, of course, anyone can connect.
Mm-hmm.
But this was in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
How do you meet a prisoner that you've never met?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I have trouble wrapping my head around. Why Texas? She was 14 years old. I get that you say, oh, she knew better. She knew her way around the streets. To me, she's 14. How is she getting from one place to another if it isn't through a truck driver? It didn't seem like she had money. She didn't have a job. She was going from place to place. So to me, she didn't have it all figured out. And it only takes one person. One wrong turn and your whole life is gone. So she wanted freedom. Why does she want freedom? Like, how was her upbringing? Like, what does she want to do? To me, it just seems like she was trying to grow up faster. She wanted independence, but at the end of the day, she was still a child. She was just 14. And she exposed herself to a lot of the things that a 14-year-old shouldn't be exposed to. And when you're out in the streets like that, unfortunately, like, most people are going to see you as some type of meat, you know, like, because she's a woman, because she's young, like, they're going to go after one thing. And like I said, it takes one person to basically turn your whole life around. To me, it's just like, it's something that I feel like was inevitable, living the lifestyle that she chose to live, right? Being free, being out in the streets, hanging out with other people. And it seemed like she didn't get spooked easily because she had 2 other sisters. But the sisters eventually were like, nah, it ain't worth it. Like, we're going back. Like, something scared them. She wasn't scared. Sherri wasn't scared. And unfortunately, that was the end to her story. But I feel bad that she went through what she went through. I want to know, like, were her parents trying to find her?
So with her case in her story, we learned in the case that she got removed from her home. She was in foster care. And then she was staying in the foster care system until she went to juvie. So to me, it seemed like something happened around that time for her to be in a modest home. We don't know how her family, how the upbringing is. We don't know, like we always say, we don't know what happened behind closed doors. For her to be removed and be placed in foster care, then juvie, something had to happen. Something had to switch in her life for her to go down this dark path, you know? And what if it was somebody that she met when she was going through her stage? Every teenager go through this wild stage we all go through. Some people don't, some do. So during her wild stage, she probably met somebody. He probably did go to Texas and get sent to jail. We don't know. So that's another thing we have to look into. But it seemed like she was running away from home. She sent her parents a letter like, hey, I'm not coming back until I'm 18 or 21 because she doesn't want to go to juvie. She making sure she stays away until she's old enough to come back out. And let me tell you something, girl, it was not going to work. If you did a crime, they still was going to get you and send you back to jail. It doesn't matter how old you were, but it's just saying, you know. But to me, it seemed like I don't know her family history. It's hard because this case is kind of like, it's not a lot of details out there on her life, but something happened in her life for her to go down that dark path. You know, she met the wrong guy. You know, I always said good girls meet their bad boy that changed them and mess up their life. So that's another thing we have to look into. But it was one part you said, like, and if she could have gotten in the car with anybody, you know, it doesn't matter. I thought of Ted Bundy. He was charming. He had a good career. He had all this stuff, but he was over here unaliving women left and right. So like that made me think like, oh shoot, you know, if he's charming, he can like not knock anybody's pants off because some people you just can't. But it's just you think like, okay, if he was charming and cute, she'd be like, oh, he's cute. Let me go with him. You know, she's 14,
Right.
But it's just sad that she was going down this wrong path and she just ran away from it because she thought it would be easier to run away than face it head on. But she's 14, so she didn't know. But that girl, she hitchhiked. I mean, Minnesota to Texas. I'm trying to get to Minnesota so I can see my Lynx play, but Lord have mercy. It took, ooh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she didn't have a job. She didn't have any money. How was she getting from place to place? How was she eating? What was she doing to earn the little bit of money that she needed to get by? I mean,
we're not saying that she did that stuff. We're just saying that it could be a possibility.
It's just, She put herself in a very dangerous situation.
I mean, but that's life though. Like as a teenager, I feel like teenagers, they don't understand how the world really work. Like as a teenager, back in my day, I understand. I thought I knew the world. I thought like I knew everything. Even if my mom was telling me like, hey, you don't know the world. The world is different from your little eyes. But I'm like, girl, I know the world. Trust me. Like you don't understand what I know. Until I got in the world for real. I was like, oh, mama was right. Until this day, I'm like, dang, there's a lot that I did not know about. And I'm a year from 30 and I'm still like learning life. So it's like, as a 14-year-old, you think you know the world. You think you know like everything that's happening around you, but you don't until you really have to step out there. To me, it's like she was still living like in a teenage world. Like she knew everything. But even though people said she was mature, she really wasn't yet. She didn't know the world. She was street smart, but she still see the world as rainbows and candy corns and unicorns. I mean, she was going to a jail.
I mean, I don't think she sees the world as rainbows, unicorns, and candy corn. I just feel like she has no other option but to trust somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's there, whoever's willing to help her. Because at the end of the day, she's kind of at everybody else's mercy. But like I said, it takes one wrong person for it to turn your whole world around. And unfortunately, that's what happened to her.
And something you said just hit me. You said her two sisters, they turned back around because something probably scared them. I wonder what was it that made them girls like, yeah, we're gonna go back home. We're not cut out for this. And I wonder what was it. Like, I wish that the police could really go and talk to them, like really talk, or they could come out and tell their stories of what they know about her, about what they saw or what happened during their time with her. Because I feel like that could piece that could give us more clarity of things that we don't understand.
Right. Was there really somebody in Texas that she was trying to see?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it all just made up? Why was she in Texas? What was she trying to do? You know, like...
Yeah, there's a lot.
How is she getting from place to place?
Mm-hmm.
Who is she staying with? Who was helping her? Like...
True.
We just don't know.
I mean, until those women come out or the police find more evidence, because it seemed like the detective, he's really trying to solve this case. But this case right here, it is a doozy, but hopefully it gets solved because the detective, he's not playing with this case. He's going to solve this case. It's the last thing he does. And I am thankful that he is on the job. Thank you, Detective Bean. This is our case, another Halloween case. If you want to hear more Halloween stories, I am doing True Crime 1 Minute Halloween on all social media. So please come check us out. We are on all podcast platforms. New episode come out every Friday. We are on YouTube, all social media, TikTok, and still there. Never know sometimes. This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
Don't forget, everybody's a suspect.
So proven innocent.
Bye.
Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian detective. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.